See, when you are going to develop a web application, website, you can say, how we open the website. To open any website, what we do? We open the laptop. In the laptop, we open the browser and we make sure whether it's connected with internet or not. And after that, we type the URL, website get open, right? Behind that, there is 100 story. When you type the URL, how it convert into IP address, how IP address will find the server, how internet, 7 layer of internet will work, how the content will come in front of you. Okay. For that, some time is required to understand entire flow. But remember, like when you want to open a website, while opening the website, whether we can open in mobile also, we can open in the laptop, desktop, anywhere we can open. But everywhere, whether you open in the mobile or open in the laptop, how you open, normal flow, I'll explain you, then we'll go in the deep level. First, let me write here, a user, font size look like okay, or I should increase one more point. I should make it 18. So a user want to open a website. So what this user will do, user will open any kind of web browser, and in the web browser, user will type the website URL. Okay, user will type the website URL. So I have written one place, one is the user, and this user interaction is going to happen with the browser. Now question is, this browser can be in the laptop, this browser can be in the mobile, this browser can be in the tab, there can be multiple type of device. Okay. So user interaction happen to laptop, and inside the laptop where the user has opened the website in any kind of devices. Okay. So user interaction happen to browser. Because of that, the browser is also called a user agent. Sometimes when you read some theory from internet regarding HTML, CSS, right? In that, you will find somewhere the word called user agent. User agent, in the term of web technology, user agent means not the physical agent. Okay, this agent, which one? Browser. That is going to guide the user. Okay, you will see now in some time, you will feel like browser becomes a platform where user is also coming and technology is also coming. Okay, technology will also execute in the browser, as well as user will also come to the browser. Okay, so browser becomes a platform. In the term of technology, it is called a user agent. Okay, but it's called a user agent. User interface is something else. We are going to develop it. User interface we will develop, that will execute in the browser. Browser is not user interface. Browser is a application software. In browser, in your computer, where the browser will come, you have to download and install. No? That is called what? Application software. You have to download and install in your laptop. Okay. So browser is also a software only. Okay.
Suppose if you download Google Chrome, then we can call it as a browser in our mobile or laptop.
Anywhere. We call from beginning, we are calling it a browser only, no? Chrome, Mozilla, Firefox, Opera, this all are called what? Browser only.
Web browser.
Web browser. Web browser. Name is represent something, no? You are going to browse what? Web. Because of that, what is called? It's called a web browser. You are going to search something, you are going to see something. From where? From the web. In an application. That application is called a what? Web browser. You can also call it a browser, you can call it a user agent. Okay. Now, in this browser, you are going to open a website. You are going to open a application, web application that is developed based on front-end concept as well as back-end concept. So let me guide you. So when we open the browser, inside the browser, we give an address. We type a URL. Okay, we type a URL. After that, that URL will execute and finally some output will come in front of us. Now let us see. I made here 2 blocks. My first block is going to explain you about the front-end technology. The first block is going to explain you about front-end technology. Front-end technologies. And the second block is going to explain you about the back-end technology. Back-end technology. Right? Front-end technology and back-end technology. Okay. Now this front-end technology and back-end technology can be deployed in the same server or can be in different server also. Okay. Like suppose for example, when you use the PhonePe, okay, in PhonePe, front end you have downloaded and you have installed in your PhonePe, sorry, mobile, which one? PhonePe, Google Pay, the front end part you downloaded and installed where? In your mobile. The front end is available here, but the back end is not available. Where? Under the mobile app. If internet is not there, your PhonePe will not work. Or will it work? It will not work. Because the back end is available in the server and the front end is available in your mobile. Correct? Now, to communicate both the party, internet is required. Okay? Exact same thing happen in the website also. Front end will be running and the back end will be running. So since the website will be also in the server, so there is a two possibility. If your server is strong enough, then you can keep the back end and front end both in the same server. Two sets of technology will develop, both will keep in the same server, both will work. In case your server have no sufficient space, your server is not very high profile server, then the front end technology you will keep in your server and the back end technology you will put in AWS. Back end where you will keep? In AWS. You will put in the cloud. Okay, you will put in the Dell server, you will put in the Google server. Okay, we will buy the server from some third party, and after that, backend will keep there, and front end will keep in our website. User will come to our website, and from our website, input output will happen, but storage will happen in the cloud. Okay, that is I have made backend different block and front end as a different block. Okay. Now, based on the condition and availability of the resource, it will decide whether both should be running in the same server or both should run in the different server. Okay. Next, in this front-end technology, when you have gone through the list, you saw HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, so many, JavaScript, many are there, right? I will split here under the front-end technology. When you open the browser and type abcd.com, request will go to the server, and from server some output will come to your laptop in the browser that we see, right? So there, this language plays a very important role. Okay, that is called HTML. This HTML plays a very important role, and you can see when the communication happens from browser, right? Browser is going to give the input to HTML and browser will receive the output again from where? HTML. So HTML is the one technology that will execute in the browser directly. HTML design in such a way that browser will understand, and browser design in such a way HTML will understand. Okay, right? Next, the first line what I have written, the first arrow mark represent that, the first arrow mark represent that it is the input. The first arrow mark represent as a input, and second arrow mark represent as a this one called as a output. Okay. Because of that, only when a person developed the project using the Java as a backend, he also used the HTML to display the output in the browser. When a person developed the website or web application using the Python, he also used the HTML to display the output in the browser. Okay, HTML is designed to deal with the browser, and browser is designed to deal with the HTML. Right? Next, after that, whenever you open the any website from today onwards, whatever the content appear in front of you, content come from somewhere else. But when the content will display in the browser, the display part will be taken care by HTML. Content may come from database or third party or somewhere. Static dynamic content is anything. But when the matter will come to display in the browser, display part will be taken care by only one, that is called HTML. Okay. Now from here scenario starts. What scenario starts? That when you are in the office, your laptop is in front of you, you will open the Flipkart in the laptop directly. Correct? Where you will open the laptop? Now suppose I need to open the Flipkart. Where I will open? I will open the laptop. When you are on the way, or maybe when you are somewhere outside, your laptop is not in front of you. You want to open the Flipkart. Mobile will be there in hand. You will open the Flipkart in the mobile itself directly. Now, what is your requirement? Your requirement says like whichever the website I am going to browse, according to my availability of the resource, the application should work. If I open in the laptop, then also it should work. If I open in the mobile phone, then also it should work. Correct? In mobile phone, suppose if the photo will display big size, 400 by 400, what will happen? You will feel like the one product photo is going out of the mobile screen, but it's never happened. Product will fit into the available space, right? Now look at here. HTML is ready to take the input from user via browser and ready to display the output to the user via browser. Okay. But HTML says like, I have little limitation on device wise. If you say like display same content properly in the mobile and display same content properly in the mobile phone, then HTML will say there is a problem. Some limitation we have, that is called limited property and value. We are going to study that. Okay. But in HTML, we have some limitation. Due to that limitation, the content picturization will come proper in the laptop, but it will not come exact in the laptop. It will not come in exact in the mobile phone, because the device size is different. Laptop screen size is bigger, mobile screen size is small. Okay. Then immediately the CSS will come, and CSS will say, HTML, you no need to worry. Just I am behind you. I will help you out to identify what is the device. If it is a laptop, I will guide you. It is a laptop. If it is a mobile phone, I will guide you. It is a mobile phone. And according to the device, you can execute. HTML is not agree to HTML not saying like I will not execute. HTML is agree to execute, but HTML is unable to identify the device. So HTML will be have similar in both the places, in mobile also as well as laptop also. Behind that, CSS will say, yes, I have a feature that I will identify what is the device, what is the width of the device, and what type of device. Based on that, I will instruct to the HTML, and if HTML will come to know, oh, this is the mobile phone, HTML will display the content according to mobile. Okay, that is called as what? Responsive web design. Okay, responsive web design. Okay, so that is the role of which one? CSS. CSS is going to control the visibility of the content, how it should appear, where it should appear, how big it should appear, how many should appear, who will control? CSS will control. What will be the color combination? All will be controlled by CSS. And HTML is responsible for only two things. Keep in mind, write it permanently. One is to collect the input from user, and another to display the output to user. And what is the platform? Browser. Okay, on browser, HTML is going to collect the input from user, and HTML is going to display the output to user. Now the CSS will be mediator saying like, I will guide you what is the device. According to device, we change the appearance of the content. User will feel like it's a responsive design. Okay. But what will happen if HTML is not there? Will the CSS will work? CSS has no such feature to deal with the browser directly. Okay, if you remove the HTML, then CSS will say, I'm sorry, I'm helpless. I cannot do anything with the browser because browser will not understand directly CSS. CSS has to combine with the HTML and then go together in the browser. Then browser will understand, oh, you are from the CSS side and you are from the HTML side. If a CSS will go directly, browser will understand the text file. It will display just like the text. It will not display any output. Okay. So now what is the use of the HTML? HTML play the very important role at front. Whatever the content appear in front of you, that content display through the HTML. Okay. And the visibility of the content, appearance of the content, design of the content will be controlled by CSS. HTML and CSS will help you to design a very good page, but the page will be static. It will take the input, but it will not display the output. No, it will take the input, it will display output also, but it will not process the data. Like suppose you given 5 plus 5 equal to. HTML will take the value, but when you click on equal to, it will say, sorry, no such feature. Who will say? HTML. Because HTML, CSS can design the static page. It will responsive page. It will work in all the devices. It will take the input and display the output. But the middle part is missing. That is called processing capability. Processing feature we don't have in HTML. Okay. Now you see further what will happen. So from today onwards, when you open the Flipkart or Amazon, when you see the button is yellow color, okay, button is from HTML, but the color control is from where? CSS. After clicking on button, if the button become orange, okay, then the button is the button only from HTML. But when you click, CSS understood, oh, you click, then button color will get changed to which color? Orange. Okay. So the content visibility as well as their appearance will be controlled by CSS. So that people call in the single line, CSS used to change the look and feel of the web page. What is the use of the CSS? Used to change the look and feel of web page. Okay. Now under the look and feel, many things. Next point, in our syllabus, one more subject we have, that is a part of CSS. Okay, it's called a Bootstrap. Bootstrap. Bootstrap is not any separate language. It has come from the CSS only. Bootstrap is written in CSS. Bootstrap is written in CSS. To learn the Bootstrap, we need to have a knowledge of CSS. Okay. And it is written by Twitter in the year of 2011. Okay, they have written in 10 only, but it's got published in the market 2011. Okay, Twitter have written for their own purpose. When they saw in the market people are struggling for responsive web design, then they said, okay, let's donate to the public. And they donated to the people saying like free of cost, utilize it and make your page responsive. Okay, people have started following. I will tell you one day a story once will come in the class. Okay, 2010, 9, 11. Okay, we used to write the code for 3 hours and fix the bug remaining full day, because there is a different type of devices in the market, different type of browsers are in the market. It will work in this device, it will not work in that device. It will work in this browser, it will not work in that browser. Okay. From the 2012 onwards, when the people started following the mobile phone to browse the web application, correct? Then some similarity came. Okay. Then we started following, okay, let's divide into mobile and desktop. In between, tab came, made very big crowd in the market. That become another hairpin for the developer. Okay. Bootstrap came in the market with the 6.7 rule regulation. And if you follow that 6.7 rule regulation, your page will be perfect and it will work in all the devices, all the browsers. Okay. That is called a grid system. We'll study once we go inside. Okay. Using these 3 technology, HTML, CSS, and Bootstrap, you can make your page very good professional design. Look and feel will be like a wow. It will work like a professional web application. Every appearance will come as what we browse on internet. Okay. So these 3 are our first month syllabus. In that, first point is the HTML, second point is the CSS, and third point is the Bootstrap. While finishing the Bootstrap, you will be about to cross the month. Okay. By then you will be very good in the design part. You can design the layout perfectly according to given work. Okay. But still your page is static. Your page will take the input and it will display the static output, but it will not process your data. Okay. If it displays somewhere 5 plus 5 equal to 10, it will display as output. But when you enter 5 plus 5 and click equal to, it will not display something. Okay, that is called what? Static. Now let's look next. Next, we'll get the another technology that is called as JavaScript. JavaScript is called a programming language. Okay, you can also call it a processing language, programming language. Both are valid. It's called a scripting language. All three are valid. Okay, how JavaScript work? It take the place here. It take the place here. Not before HTML, just after the HTML. Okay. Now what HTML was doing? HTML was taking the input from user and it was displaying as a fixed value to the user. HTML was not able to process the given input. Now see, here what will happen now? JavaScript cannot deal with the user directly. Okay, JavaScript has no any design things. JavaScript has no any GUI. It has no any graphical user interface. Okay, it has just functionality we need to implement it. JavaScript will say, HTML, I cannot deal with directly with the user via browser, but I can talk to you. You take the input from user and give me. Who will say? JavaScript. So input suppose happen 10 plus 10. Okay. After that, processing will happen here. Process will happen. After processing, it will result as a 20. And this 20 process data, this 20 as a process data, this 20 as a process data, we have to send to the browser. So let me go here a little, right at this place now. 10 plus 10, 20 happen. Now this 20 will go to the where? Browser. But since JavaScript cannot deal with the browser directly, JavaScript will give that 20 to the HTML and HTML will pass to where? Correct? So one side user has come and user has given, suppose here the user has entered called 10. Again, there was a plus button in between. And again, user has entered called 10 and there was a button called equal to. Okay, where? Under the browser. And this three input gone to where? JavaScript. JavaScript taken all three, did the process according to operator. Finally, JavaScript found, okay, 10 plus 10, 20. Now the JavaScript will give the 20 to HTML and this 20 will be displayed to where? In the browser as a output. So now what JavaScript is doing? JavaScript is doing a processing work. Taking the value from one side, do the process, return back. Take the input, process and return. Okay. But still your page is taking the input and displaying the output, but your page is not going to hold the data for future purpose. Okay, because JavaScript have no any storage capacity. JavaScript cannot store your data. So in that case, we required another technology that will help to JavaScript, saying like, you have taken the input, you process the data, you given the output, that's fine. But one copy you give me, I will hold it. In future, when the user will demand again, I will give you the copy, you can display to whom? User. Okay, that is called a storage. That will go to the next part. But first, let's come down. From JavaScript, multiple libraries are in the market. Suppose jQuery library was famous for some time. Now also we use jQuery. React plus Redux you have. This is the library of JavaScript. Next we have called here called Angular. TypeScript plus Angular. Angular you have, right? Next, after that, see how these technologies are going to take the place. One is here, another one is here, another one is here. That side. That side. That's okay. So this technology come from where? Right? So the jQuery also come from here only. From where? JavaScript. Redux React come from the JavaScript. This Angular TypeScript, first will be the TypeScript. I'll write in between. Here call it TS, .ts. .ts, okay? Because before writing the Angular, we need to have a knowledge for TypeScript. Angular is written in TypeScript and TypeScript come from the JavaScript, okay? Right? So this is the branching of your JavaScript. Not only this much, 100 plus libraries are there in market. People use it, okay? So in front end, right, a step what we will be following, HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, after that JavaScript. After finishing JavaScript, you can choose our Angular or you can choose call React. Okay, but after finishing the JavaScript only, without finishing the JavaScript, there is no any way to convince anyone any of this library. Okay, right? And market demand, whenever you go for interview, market demand is like, are you aware of any library or framework of JavaScript? If anything is okay, if you have an idea, then come, else try and then come. So anyone from here, this both, anyone is compulsory to learn and then go for it.
So this library is used for storage purpose, as you said.
Library is not for the storage purpose. Storage purpose is here, back in language. Okay, that I will guide you next. This is called as a part of the JavaScript, library of JavaScript. Like Bootstrap, you saw. Bootstrap is written in CSS. Exact same way, React and Redux is also written under the JavaScript. Okay, jQuery is written using the JavaScript. Angular is written in TypeScript and TypeScript is written under the JavaScript. Okay, so that branching I made from JavaScript, what are the technology come out? Okay, so we cannot say this is the technology. This is called library. Library, what you understand by library is something ready-made. Whenever the word come library, in our mind, word should come called a ready-made. Okay. When you go to the college book library, do you buy the book? No. Materials are already there. Take one, utilize, and again return back. Okay, exact library also play the same role. Required functionality is already developed by expert, and that is available under the file and folders. Now, according to need, we need to connect with the files and folder and take the functionality and execute it and get our functionality ready. Okay, in that case, you don't have to write your own logic. Already is written. Now we need to understand how to call it, how to use it, how to integrate with the project. Okay, that part is called as what? Library. Okay, library represent something ready-made. According to need, you will call it, you will utilize it, and again library will go back to library. Okay, again next time when the user will come, again functionality will come and apply, and once the functionality is done, functionality will go back to where? Library. Okay, so it is a kind of a ready-made material. According to need, we will keep using and keep storing, keep using. It is not database. It is not going to store your data. Okay, it is the list of ready-made functionality that is going to help you to finish your task in less time, to finish your functionality quickly. Okay, that is called what? Library and framework. Difference between library and framework will guide you, but not today. Time will be less some other day. When we start the Angular or React, that day I'll guide you. Library meaning is what? Framework. Okay. So till here we are clear. Yes, we will be following the technology HTML, CSS, Bootstrap after the JavaScript, and after JavaScript we can choose either Angular or React. Functionality wise, we saw HTML is going to deal with the browser and it's going to design the layout. But to fit in all type of devices, we need the help from CSS, as well as if we have less time and we want to deliver a lot of output, then we will take the help from here. That is called as a Bootstrap. Okay, it will not allow you to write anything, but ready-made everything is there. You can utilize and deliver fast. Okay? Next, to make the page dynamic, we required a processing language that is called JavaScript. JavaScript is going to help you to process your data based on requirement. Okay, so basic design I have made, how input will come, how process will happen, and how the output will go back to where? Browser. Okay. Next, from the JavaScript, Possible the library what we are going to study, I have listed here, that's come from the JavaScript. Next is the backend technologies for the storage purpose. How to send the data to backend? Okay, which technology will be responsible to send the data to backend? A user will come, he will fill the contact us form, he will click on submit button. After clicking on submit button, what should happen? Something should happen, no? It should display saying your message sent successfully or enter your name. Something should happen, correct? That is called a processing. So taking the input from user, identifying the mistake of the user, guiding to the user are the part of this all. Okay. Next, once the user is guided, user has given the proper input, everything is well, then user expectation will be my input should go somewhere and I should get a response saying like we receive your input or we receive your number or something happened. Okay. So in that case, now you have to approach to the backend saying like, be ready, I will send you data, you need to hold it. Okay. So in backend, there will be two parts. One is called database. In backend, there will be two parts, that is called database. Database. Okay. Database. Database is going to hold all about the data. Let me write here data, 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 correct? Data, data. You will come, you will give your details, that's as a data. I will come, I will register, I will give my details, that is also data. Correct? Everyone will come, he will register, everyone will give their details, that becomes what? Data. And where it will go? It will go to the some place where we store, that is called as a database. Okay. So database we have multiple types. Right now, suppose I made one block, the database. This becomes a storage where we are going to keep our data. Okay. Next matter is this database have no such feature to deal with the Angular, have no such feature to deal with the React or JavaScript or HTML. There is no such feature. Where? Under the database. There is no such feature under the HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, jQuery, okay, Angular and React to deal with whom? Database. Because database is a secure zone. These technologies are going to execute in user computer and this database will be always in the server. Okay, if the database will be under the unsecure zone, then what will happen you can understand. In one day only all the data will get destroyed. Okay, so database will be under the server, under the very secure zone. And database says like, I cannot deal with all the technology. In fact, I cannot deal with the front-end technology. The technology you execute in the user computer and we don't know who is the user. User is a hacker or user is honest or dishonest user, we don't know. So database will say, I cannot deal with those technology that execute in the front end. Okay. I can deal with those technology that execute in the back end. Those technology have the security. Those technology can talk in two ways. One way from the front end, another way from the database. Okay. So for that, we have to use some technology that is called server-side processing language. Okay. Server-side processing language. Server-side processing language. You will ask, what are these languages? How that work? So many languages are there that you have heard in the market. You might have heard called Java, correct? You might have heard called PHP. You might have heard called Node.js. You might have heard called .NET, correct? You may have heard regarding the Python, right? These all are called as a server-side processing language. This language will not execute in the user computer. This language will be always in the server. Okay, this language will be where? In the server, right? And when the request will come from the front end, according to request, the backend language will execute, either take the input on display or give the. Now, what you are going to do in this server-side language, let me guide you. Under the server-side language, the very important part you are going to write, That is called a web service. That is called a web service. Web service. This web service can be based on SQL or it can be based on without SQL, based on your database. If the database is SQL database, then we have to follow the SQL query. If the web database is no SQL, then we have to follow something else. Now, this web service, so what is the web service? It is not fixed technology. The web service can be written in Java also, Python also, PHP. All the backend language have the topic of which one? Web service. In all the backend languages, we can write the web service. Okay. Now see, the web service will have double mouth. One mouth will communicate with the database, another mouth will communicate with the front end technology. See, it's like this. The web service will be able to deal with the database to send the data, and web service will be able to retrieve the data from where? Database. Like web service is nothing but the backend technology. The backend technology have the feature to deal with the database, to send the data as well as retrieve the data. But whose data? That is the question. When you log in the Naukri.com, whose profile it will display when you go to the edit profile? Your profile only. You will click on button in HTML in browser. HTML will give the information to JavaScript. JavaScript will give the information to backend. Saying like user ID 135 has clicked me and he want to see his view profile. Now what will happen? Backend language will send a request to database. Now database will have 135 ID. Based on 135 ID, it will take the details of 135 and give to whom? Backend language, web service. Now from here, web service again will give to whom? JavaScript. JavaScript will give to whom? HTML. And HTML will appear in front of you, saying like edit profile. Correct? Okay, so let's see now. So in the web service, now web service is able to deal with your backend language, is able to deal with the database to send the data as well as receive the data. But again, question is where the data will come to backend technology. Backend technology will get the data from where? When we go to the ATM, you enter your PIN number directly in the Python. No. You enter your PIN number under the GUI, correct? Where you press the button in the GUI, graphical user interface. That is nothing but this part, called as a display part, your HTML part. Now see, what will happen is, from the front end to back end, it may be within the same server or it may be within the different servers. It may be in same server or it may be in the other server. Okay. So what we have to do, from front end to back end, we have to make a very good bridge. Via the bridge, your data transaction will happen from the front end to back end in the very secure zone. Okay, in the very secure manner. So for that, we required a bridge. That bridge is called a API. See, I have made a point where the backend is also and front end also. Both have a point to communicate, right? So this point you can call, normally we call it this thing called a API. Okay, full form if you ask, you will get confused. It's called the application programming interface. That will not make any sense as of now. After implementing, only will come to know, okay, this is called API. Now, this bridge what I have made, this bridge is called API. In this bridge, JavaScript can also send the data. jQuery can also send the data. Okay, this Angular React also can send the data. Something like this. Now you see what it represents. User interaction happen to HTML. User will give the input to HTML. Input will be handed over to where? JavaScript. JavaScript will do the process, and one copy of the output will be returned to the user. User will be happy, saying like, oh, very fast application. And at the same time, JavaScript using the technique called Ajax, JavaScript will send one copy of data to where? Backend. Okay. Again, when you write call Angular, that functionality is called as this one, HTTP client. Okay. When you write the React, it is called as this one, called as a fetch. When you write called jQuery, it's called as a jQuery Ajax. A space is not there. Let me write here called JQ Ajax. jQuery Ajax. Okay, jQuery Ajax. But you can see in all the technology, features are there. jQuery is able to communicate with the feature called jQuery Ajax. React is able to communicate, that is called fetch method. Angular is able to communicate, that is called HTTP client. JavaScript is able to communicate, that is called as what? Ajax. But overall, whichever the technology communicate from the front end to back end, what is that point? That point is called this one, called as a API. Now, when the data will go from the front end to back end via API, in which format it will go? In which format it will go? For example, when you check the balance in your phone pay, where you will enter the PIN number? In your mobile, correct? From your mobile, your account number, your user ID, your mobile number, correct? Your PIN number, all will go to where? Bank server. Bank server will check the details. Based on this given input, anything is available, the bank server will say, yes, there is a 10,000 in account. Now the 10,000 is where? Under the database. Now from database, 10,000 will be given to whom? Backend language. This 10,000 will be given to whom? API. And this API will be displayed to whom? In your phone pay, saying like 10,000. Available amount, 10,000. Understood? So the data come from the backend to your phone pay. Which method? API. In API, how your credential communicate, how the details appear in the mobile phone, how that appear, how that communicate in the form of this one. College, that communicate in the form of JSON. Okay, that communicate in the form of JSON, right? JSON have the security. Before sending the data, we can secure, and before delivering the data also we can secure. Okay, right? So when the third, like suppose front end is sending the data to backend, it will send in the JSON format, secure manner. When the backend will send the data to front end, it will send in the form of JSON. That will be again secure, right? So I will write here double arrow mark that will represent you that we can send the data also. It should not be very fat arrow key. It should be little thin arrow key. It will represent that we can send the data also, and this one will represent we can retrieve the data also. In which format? That is called as a JSON format. In market, if anyone is available to anyone having at least 2-year experience, and if they are able to implement this diagram in backend any language, any database, and in frontend HTML, CSS, Bootstrap, JavaScript, either Angular or React or jQuery, his profile will be called as a full stack developer. If he have 2-year experience, it should not be less than 10 lakh or 12 lakh. Okay, if he is less than 10 lakh, that meaning he has not grown a lot in his career. Okay, and after 3 years, definitely it will reach 15 plus lakh. Okay, you can check with anyone in the market what is the salary of full stack developer. Okay, if anyone is less than 10 lakh, that meaning honestly he has not grown a lot in his future, in his career. Okay, the people have done well. His profile, his salary should not be less than 10 lakh. Minimum I'm talking. More than that can be anything, but minimum. Okay, because when a person implement end-to-end, he become a complete. He can listen a requirement and he can deliver the product. Okay, right? So, and this all cannot be done in one day. This cannot be done in 1 month. It's a need time, yeah. Because there is a lot of thing inside, correct? When you will become full stack developer, you may design better than this photo. In Paint, how we can design? This is the sufficient in Paint. This is the Paint I am using. Correct? The steps may be little different, but it is showing the exact idea. Okay, how the web application work when we deal with the front end and back end. Right? Next, you will say like, I'm not going to learn the back end. How you will teach me the API? I have written in syllabus already. This one. I have written called JSON server. JSON minus server. Okay. So the people who will learn only front end, they also should know how to create the API. For them, I will be using this one, called a JSON server. Inside the JSON server will create the API and everything remains same. Here everything remains same. Only this portion will not be covered for the front end developer. But this all will get covered end to end. You want free also and you want secure also. JSON server, like within half an hour, you will learn everything. Okay. In half an hour, you will learn everything. How to create API, how to read, write, update, delete everything. So in half an hour, you want entire picture. So it is file system. It is file system. In file, data will go. Okay. It will store in the very systematically. If anyone will take your file, they can read your all the data. Okay, that is called as a completely unsecure only. When the data will go to database, then only security will get applied. When the data is in the file system, there is no any kind of security also. Okay, right? So hope you understood. This is my syllabus, what I teach the people here. Okay, for full stack developer, end to end, both the boxes, including the JSON server. For front end developer, the first box along with the JSON server. And then when the live project will come, then also we combine together, right? So when we go to the JavaScript, then also we learn the API. API, the fetch method I have written here, this will come in JavaScript as well as Ajax, both will be there. When we are going through the Angular React, then also we learn the API. When we are going through the, either if we are going for Angular, then also you will learn the API. So everywhere, API is compulsory for front-end developer. Until unless you have no idea, you can't do anything. Okay. Now you can take this photo if you want. This is the final photo of complete design. Okay. And after that, if you have any question, you can ask me on video.
Purpose of API is to make the smooth connection
From the front end to back end. It's kind of, you can say, the bridge. One village in the left side, another village in the right side. In between, there is a river. Now, first villager wants some data from the second villager. Second villager wants some data from the first villager. Correct? So how? We require a medium. That is called a bridge. Correct? But when you make the bridge cannot carry your data. Correct or not? Via bridge, you can go and come. On bridge, you require a container, in that you carry the data. Correct? So this red block, the pipe I have made, you can see this pipe. This pipe is nothing but the bridge. But on the bridge, how you will carry the data? That is called this one, called a JSON server. Bridge is ready, but from this side, we cannot throw the data, oh, take, I am sending your mobile number. Correct? We have to keep the material inside a cartoon, and cartoon should be carried by someone. Correct? So here the JSON is nothing but the cartoon. Okay, and who will carry this cartoon? Internet. Internet will carry your cartoon from your PC to server, and from server to your PC. And in between, internet router will be there. A router will say, okay, server is where you want. See this data, when the JSON will form, that is called as a data packet. Data packet. Okay. In the data packet, in the front, address of receiver, and in the back, address of sender. When the data will go on internet, the routers, junction will be there, no, on internet, on every point, wherever there will be routing junction will be there. The junction will identify who is the receiver. Junction will come to know, oh, receiver is a Hyderabad, then follow this line. Correct? Now once it will go to the Hyderabad again junction will reach. The Hyderabad receiver will identify, okay, you want to go to Amirpet, this route will follow. When the data will reach to the Amirpet receiver is absent. If Amirpet the receiver is present, then data they'll receive, and they'll acknowledge to the sender saying like, yes, I received. Okay. But if the sender is absent, receiver is absent, the data has gone. In which way? First was the receiver, that was the Amirpet, and sender was the Bangalore. Now the data packet will come back again, reverse order. Now the Bangalore will become receiver, and the Amirpet will become as a sender. And again data will come to your PC and saying like client is absent or server is absent. You see the error, no? One button click after some time, you will see server is something or some error occurred. What is that? That is called a response. Your information will go to the backend, and from backend response will come saying like is a success or fail. In PhonePe, when you click on balance inquiry, enter the PIN number and click on go button. After some time, round will happen. What is that? Request is going, correct? When from there response will come, then it will say success, particular something. Okay. Sometime what will happen? Get stuck. Means your request is went, server is too busy. Now the PhonePe will say moving, right? PhonePe will wait till the server will respond to you. Server will say either success or fail. If server is stuck for half an hour, timeout will happen. Then message will come yellow color saying like under process. Right? This is called what? Data communication. Okay. So there JSON is going to play very important to carry your data. Okay. The API is nothing but consider a bridge. Via bridge, from one side you are passing the data to other side. Container can be anything. Okay. We have some more kind of, instead of JSON, we have XML also. I'll guide you in the next session. Clear?
Sir, please explain about fetch, sir.
Which one?
Fetch, sir.
Fetch. I can't hear you.
Fetch, sir. Fetch.
Which server?
React plus Redux. Fetch, sir. Fetch method.
React and Redux.
Yes.
Fetch
method.
How can I explain you now? How fetch work? That you should not ask now, no? Because you are seeing the photo. In photo, how will explain about the fetch? If you want to see the how the fetch work, you can join in my running class. 11 o'clock I have a class tomorrow. In that 11 o'clock I am implementing the fetch function. You can see. Else let it be for the time. Once time will come, I'll guide you. Okay, that is the VBI question for interview. When you go for interview, people will ask you what is the fetch, how it works. I'll explain you once time will come. Today is not that point to explain you any line of the code or any kind of very inner level functionality. Okay then. Thank you for today. We'll see you tomorrow. 3:30 I have next class. 2:15 to 3:30 will be the session for this week completely. From next week, we will make till 3:30. 1.5 hour will be the session. You will continue. Once JavaScript will come, we'll extend for 15 more minutes, 1 hour 45 minutes. That will be enough. In 1 hour 45 minutes, we'll be packed fully. Okay, so this week we have 2:15 to 3:30, 2:15 to 3:30. Same link you can join. Little patience is required. In one day, you cannot become a software engineer. No one can make you and no one can be. Okay, time is required, and my formula is not something from in between. I start from here only for every batch. You can see in other folders also, whichever the folder I have, any folder if I go, you can see one file should be there. Can you see a DFD? If I open that photo, that should look like something similar. Similar, correct? Okay, because you need to know what you are going to do. So this is your final destination in the term of technology. Okay, I will save this file. We will use it further whenever we have a requirement. Placement point of view, placement will happen from here. We have a lot of company tie-up.